Hello friends, I am Beatrice. Welcome to Maths Medicine. The last time we talked about the order of operations, where we say it has four basic rules, and the rule 1 said that we should solve problems with parentheses or brackets first. Rule 2 says we should solve the exponents. Rule 3, multiplication and division. And the last rule says we should solve problems with addition and subtraction. So today we want to apply those rules in fractions and see how it goes. Simplify 4 2/3 plus 3 5/12 minus 6 1/4. The first thing to do in this case is to solve for the whole numbers. Remember, the rule did not tell us whether to do addition or subtraction first. The rule said that we should solve from left to right. So let's solve the whole numbers. 4 plus 3 will give us 7. 7 minus 6 is 1. So you write your whole number 1. Now let's find the lowest common multiple of the denominators. That is 3, 12, and 4. Now to find the lowest common multiple of the denominators, it goes this way. The factors of 3 are, the multiples of 3, are 3, 6, 9, 12, we have 15. The factors of 12 are 12, 24, we have 36. The factors of 4 are 4, 8, 12. Let's stop here. Now the lowest common multiple is 12. So we have it here as our denominator. Now we are going to use the denominator to divide this one. Then we multiply what we got with the numerator. 12 divided by 3 will give us 4. 4 times 2 is 8. Bring down the sign you have here, which is plus. 12 divided by 12 is 1. 1 times 5 is 5. Bring down the sign you have, which is minus. Now, 12 divided by 4 will give us 3. 3 times 1 is equals 3. Now remember, we are solving from left to right. You write your 1 whole. 8 plus 5 is 13. 13 take away 3. You have the denominator 12. Which is equals, you have your 1 whole. 13 take away 3 will give us 10. 12. So normally you call it 1 whole number, 10 12ths. But something can still divide. Something can still divide 10 and 12. So 2 can divide. 2 divide 10 will give us 5. 2 divide 12 will give us 6. So our final answer is 1 5 6. Like this. Okay, let's check the second question that says we should simplify 1/3 divided by 2/3 times 4/5. Remember, we are solving from left to right. In this case, we have this 1/3. Now, whenever you have division in a fraction, just do the inverse. When you have division, do the inverse. The inverse of division is times. Now, when you do the inverse of division, which is times, you change the next fraction you are working with, that is the one by the right. You do the inverse as well. The denominator will go up and the numerator will come down, which means you now have times 3, 2, like this. We still have our times 4/5. Now, whenever you have multiplication in a fraction, the easiest thing to do is to cross out. You divide denominator by numerator. Just, you go once. 3 divided 3 is 1. That same 3 divided 3 is 1. 2 divided 2 is 1. That same 2 divided 4 will give you 2. Can any other thing divide? No. 5 cannot divide 2 and 2 cannot divide 5. 5 cannot divide 1. So we are leaving it this way. So we have 1 times 1, which is 1, times 2 will give us 2. 1 times 1 is 1, times 5 will give us 5. So our final answer is 2/5. Nothing can divide. Okay, let's go to the last examples. Okay, the last question I have here, 2/7 divided by, you have in brackets 1/14 divided by 15/8. Brackets closed. Now you'll be wondering, how come we have division all the way? That is not the problem. Remember, the inverse of division is multiplication. But what I want you to know from this question is that you have to solve brackets first. Solve the question in brackets first. So we are going for the bracket. Here we have 1/14 divided by 15/8. Let's change this to an improper fraction so that we get the actual value we need. We are going to change this mixed fraction. Of course, you know that this is a mixed fraction. We are going to change it to an improper fraction so that you get the thing you need. In case you are confused, mixed fraction is a fraction that has a whole number and a proper fraction joined together. Like this, we have 1 whole and we have 1/14. Now, changing it to an improper fraction, you multiply the denominator by the whole number. Then you add the numerator. Denominator times whole number plus the numerator. So the denominator times the whole number. 14 times 1 will give us 14. 14 plus 1 is 15. So you have 15/14. Of course, you know that whenever you have a bigger numerator, it is an improper fraction. It is just like a small baby carrying the mother. But when you have the mother, that's a big number, carrying the small number, it is a proper fraction. So divided by 15/8. Remember, in this case, if you want to get what you are looking for, the inverse of division is multiplication. So you have to change that division there to multiplication. And when you change it to multiplication, your denominator will go up and the numerator will come down. So you have 8/15. So let's divide. 15 divide 15 is 1. This 15 divide this 15 as well will give you 1. 2 can divide 8 and 14. 2 divide 8 is 4. 2 divide 14 is 7. So we have 4/7. Nothing else can divide. Remember, we still have an outstanding number there. So we have 1 times 4 is 4. 7 times 1 is 7. You have 4/7. Remember, we still have 2/7 up here. So let's work with it. You bring it down. 2/7 divided by 4/7, which is equals to 7 times 7/4. At this point, you don't need to ask me how I got this. You already know that when the division sign changes to multiplication, you have the inverse of the numbers. The denominator will go up and the numerator will come down. 7 divided 7 is 1. 7 divided 7 here is 1. 2 divided 2, 1. 2 divided 4 is 2. Nothing else can divide. So 1 times 1 is 1. And 1 times 2 is 2. The main answer is half. That is 1/2, like we normally say. Okay? We have finished with all the questions, and at least you have known how to use the order of operations in finding out your answers whenever you have problems in mathematics. Remember the order of operations because it will always help you. Now I want to show you something. Some people might be asking themselves, why are we changing this? What is this? What is that? Now look at this. I'm coming back to example 2 now. I'm coming back to example. Now I want you to get this inverse of a thing. I want you to get it very clear. If you have, just like this example too, if you have 1/3 divided by 2/3, it's the same thing as writing 1/3 divided by 2/3. How do you expect yourself to solve this? How are you going to solve this? Now to break it down, that is why we have 1/3. Instead of using this division sign again, you change it to multiplication. Now when you change it to multiplication, this is your denominator. You first of all climb up. And this your numerator. For the one down, that is for the fraction that is down, you now go down. Then you can now start dividing anything you want to divide. Don't get confused. As time goes on, everything will become very clear to you, and you will see how simple mathematics is. Thanks for joining us today. Don't forget to like and share my page. You can as well invite your friends to join you in gaining this knowledge. Thank you.